Hey Coach, it's Matt Walrath from the VIP Nutrition Coach Show. In today's episode, I'm going to share one of the brilliant launch strategies one of my clients, Colby, used to generate $15,000 a month of coaching clients. And this amazing month of coaching enrollments came in December, when most coaches tend to close up shop because they think nobody signs up in December. Instead of giving up, Colby implemented the strategy he shares in this episode and booked 4 pre-sold leads per week onto his calendar without running any ads or sending any cold DMs. Plus, we discuss how he could get even more leverage with this strategy next time around. As a reminder, this episode is a snippet from one of the weekly live trainings we do in the Online Nutrition Coach Community Facebook group. If you'd love to submit your questions to be answered on future shows and get access to weekly live trainings and resources to help you scale your online coaching business, you can head directly to the Online Nutrition Coach Community Facebook group or go to beyondmacros.com/community to get access plus a free bonus training to help you scale your nutrition coaching business without working a minute past 30 hours per week. All right, that's enough from me. Now for the episode. And today I've got an awesome training for you to help you hit that 6-figure mark. We've got one of our clients, Colby Knepp. Colby is playing the game at a whole new level recently. And he has implemented a brilliant strategy, part inspired by him, part inspired by his wife, as I learned, and partially inspired by what we've taught him in the Build Workshop. And so he's going to share how over the last 4 weeks, he has used this strategy to generate $15,400 in new business with clients who he's enrolled. Colby is the type of dude who, man, I love coaching him because he is very coachable, takes action, is just an absolute sponge. So sharing the strategy with you today, as well as what he's found works really well for his business, you're probably going to get a bunch of little secrets from behind the curtain in our mentorship. So pay attention. Grab a pen, grab some paper, get ready to take notes. And without further ado, let's bring up Colby Knepp. What is up, brother?
Hey, man. Hey, guys. How's everybody doing out there? Matt, thanks for having me, bro.
Just before we dive into the strategy that's been working really well for you, I think it'll really help people to see where you were at before you started the Build Workshop. So they can see, wow, Colby, that dude, a lot like me.
Man, it is, I got to be honest, it's weird being where I'm at today and reflecting it, coming up on the end of 2020. So for context, by trade, was a personal trainer. And I say that proudly, was a personal trainer. Work in early mornings, as trainers know, it's either in the morning or it's in the evening, or you're just not going to make a living. And I was kind of realizing the limit on that business model. But I also had more skills to share. I really wanted to get into like some transformational, like life-changing work. And fitness was a good entry into that. So I've been in the industry a while. January 2020, before any of this happened, I started to slowly kind of shift and pick up some nutrition coaching clients, real general. I didn't have an avatar. I didn't have like an offer. I charged whatever they were comfortable, investing. And fast forward to January, February, March. Our gyms here in Colorado shut down for a long time, like the rest of the world. And I knew that I wasn't about to just give up on this dream. And I had a good mentor in my life who said, "Listen, dude, you got 48 hours before things shut down. You got to make an exit plan. You got to come up with something new." And so that's when I started researching nutrition coaching. I was like, okay, I had 3 or 4 clients at the time, not a full-time income by any means. It was like fun money, to be honest. And I came across Beyond Macros, the Build Workshop. I was at a point, man, like my business was real loose. It was like I had a lot of personal training clients, but that went away basically overnight. My income dropped, I want to say, 85 to 90% in a matter of 7 days, which was terrifying. So for context, I'm the sole income earner in my family. I have 2 kids and a wife to take care of. And so that was a pretty crazy period. But ultimately these challenges, if we just embrace them and look for mentorship when we're totally lost and just commit to the process, really great things will happen. So I think it was, let me think, March, April, May. May is when I formally hired you guys to guide me. And I'm like, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. I really need some guidance here. And I talked with Shauna, talked with you, talked with Kate. I felt like this is the right move for my business and for my family. Just from your authenticity in the online nutrition coach community where we are now. But Shauna, was persistent, man. She pulled me aside. She's like, listen, I can't let you make another decision. You have to, I really think this is the best thing for you. And I am so glad that she followed up and pulled me back into this conversation. So man, before this, my business nutrition coaching, maybe I was doing $1,000 a month, from people that I knew, and I was a generalist. It was like, oh, you want to lose weight? Yeah, cool. I can do that. Right. And so there was no systems. This thing that was supposed to be like a fun side part of my business really just kind of stressed me out because it wasn't a business. It was just basically filled with assessment paperwork from PN, level 1. And I was just like, just blowing my brains out trying to figure this stuff out. And what was really incredible was the step-by-step approach that you taught me. And just having that accountability and that mentorship along the way got me really to where I am now.
Awesome, man. Love the story. And yeah, dude, I mean, you follow the process, and guess what? That's the thing. That's the leading indicators. And what lags is the clients coming in, but man, they came in. And today I really want to share with everybody in the online nutrition coach community just exactly what it is you've done over the last 4 weeks to generate this level of business. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been $15,400 in new client enrollments over the past 4 weeks.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 15,400. Dude, it's just so crazy. Saying it is real. My previous best selling personal training was, let's say, 12,000 in a month.
Yeah.
And so different engagement, right? 2-3 times a week in person, very high touch concierge type deal. So for me to do 15.4 in revenue for nutrition coaching, man, it, like you said, it's this whole new game. It's this whole new level that I really like being here. It's really freaking cool. So, went through the build workshop, went through, let me think here. What was the process? Worked on my avatar, figured out who my dream clients are, figured out who my energy vampires were. Turns out I had a lot of them that I was working with. I was like, all right, I just got to trust the process, man. And my energy is more important so I can serve the right person, the right people. And then, man, I just started implementing. I literally just took the roadmap and I took imperfect action every single day, and nothing was coming my way. I'll be real. For the first 90 days, it was as if I was just shouting into like a hollow tunnel. There's engagement was okay. I was still kind of figuring out my message and my avatar and all that. But then something clicked, man. Something clicked. It's like compounding interest with the analogies actually that you explained. All of a sudden, people started replying and engaging and asking questions and reaching out to me. And now it's at this point where the momentum is such that I just got to keep staying active and, working the steps each day. But I got to the point where I launched my program. It's called 360 Thrive. It's a deep health coaching program focused on weight loss and lifestyle change. And the people who come to me are men 35 to 40, over 30 pounds or more overweight. And they have a track record of being consistently inconsistent. So that's my avatar. Those are the guys who, for whatever reason, we just vibe. We just do really well, and I can support them on their journey. So before build, like I was saying, I was charging maybe $150, $200 a month. And to think of even charging $300 or $400 was bonkers. But now I'm at the point where I charge $2,000 for 12 weeks, and I don't bat an eye because that's what people are willing to invest in. And one thing I learned from you, Matt, is they actually are more committed to the process with that investment. They're gonna see it through. They're going to get good results when they're investing. They're not really investing in me. They're actually investing in themselves, which is kind of a mindset shift that's been helpful. So 360 Thrive, I had a handful of testimonials from personal training clients, having kind of taken them through this process, this transformation process that I put together that now is this program. And I was thinking, man, I want to tell people about what I do. And I am just a chronic overthinker. And finally, my wife just was looking at me like, hey, guy, why don't you just like interview them and let them share their stories? And so I just committed to, all right, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go all in, and I'm just going to hammer people's news feeds with like this relentlessly positive, motivating stories of men who are changing their lives through health, through fitness, and through nutrition. And so the engine underneath all of this was the social compounding that you taught me, right? Reaching out, organic conversations, really good copywriting. And so I had this, small audience. It was an audience, but kind of built up. When I started sharing these stories and announcing that, hey, like I'm open for business, we can engage if this is something you want to do, man, people just started reaching out, commenting, sending me direct messages, setting up, introductory phone calls and conversations. I had another client recently post his his before and after photo. I had probably 8 or 9 guys reach out to say, hey, what do you do? Tell me more about this. And that's looking like it's going to turn into, another really good month just from virtue of this stuff going. So to sum it up, man, it was social compounding, daily implementation of adding good fit friends to my Facebook profile, posting content, engaging, starting conversations. The whole filter my decision-making filter was, how can I create more conversations? Like, what can I do in my control to just get conversations rolling? And then, man, once I did like a formal launch week, I just hammered people with client testimonials, and they weren't like crazy, shocking before and afters. It was just real people, real conversations, just like you and I. And I'd always question, like, do people actually listen to these things? And 100%, yes, they do. The right people do, because of the clients that I signed up in this past 4-week kind of implementation period. They're like, hey, I listened to James' story. I listened to Taylor. I heard all about so-and-so, man, and I can relate to that. James said something that really hit me. And I'm like, yeah, fucking cool. He totally did. So yeah, man, that was kind of the gist of it.
Awesome, man. Yeah, there's some absolute gold in there for everybody listening. I think one of the things you said earlier that stood out to me is, like you mentioned, the first 90 days, it was like slow moving. It's like you got a few clients here and there, but that's like putting your roots into the ground with your business. I think a lot of people, see a lot of the big promises that coaches like me even make, in terms of where you can take your business. But when you're just starting out the way that you were, with especially your online coaching business, you got to put strong roots into the ground. And, for you, it sounds like it was getting really clear on who you serve, getting really clear on what the offer was, and then getting the repetitions with putting out really good content, getting better at copywriting, and getting better about that frame of how can I create more conversations. And as you started creating more conversations, as you started getting more people into your network, then when you decided to implement the strategy of just bombarding people with social proof, leading up to a launch week, hey, I'm open for business, this is what I do, that it just opened the floodgates for you. And you hit what we call the upward spiral in the Build Workshop.
Dude, 100%. And here's the thing, like that initial period, I was highly motivated because I wasn't making any money, right? Like I was like, I have to pay my mortgage. So like, I have to do this. Otherwise, house goes bye-bye and death and despair and all these other things happen. And I was just motivated, man. I was ready to go. I just, every single day, heads down, implementing like a madman, probably, 2.5 hours a day, right? So it's not like I was, working 10 hours a day doing this, right? There's only so much only so many friends you could add. There's only so much content you can publish. If I wasn't doing that, I was in the build, like the actual course, like re-watching content and just like, let me get this. Here's what's crazy, Matt. I've only worked through, I think, step 1 and step 2 of how to generate clients and leads. I haven't even got to like the operations side yet of all that, right? I'm just like, let me get really good at this one thing. And then when I get clients, I can solve that problem later. So that goes to show you, man, like the value that I received signing up for this, like far surpasses the investment. Like easy. We could do the math. I could easily tell you that number, but like, let me just tell you guys, like, for what Matt is charging, you're getting an absolute steal. If you're like committed and highly, motivated to change your life. And even if you just want to like do it as a side hustle and make a couple $1,000s a month, you could 100% do that. but why play small when you could like really play big and live your dream lifestyle?
Yeah. Amen, dude. I appreciate those words, and especially the last ones. Why play small when you can live your dream lifestyle? Because especially for you, it's interesting to hear you haven't gotten to the operational stuff, because man, as you start growing and growing and growing, that operational stuff is exactly what's going to allow us to help you scale while still having that ability to just really be there, present with your boys, with your wife. And I'm excited about that, getting into that part of the journey with you.
I'm now at that point, man. Like this week specifically has shown me, oh, hey, okay, you need to fix some stuff in your business, because there's big influx of clients, right? Yep. And I've had some, I've gone through enough iterations of onboarding people now. I got that down. Tracking, keeping people organized, all that. But this next year, especially, man, is going to be crucial in getting those systems dialed in. So I'm really looking forward to diving into that.
Awesome. Yeah, me too, man. All right. So just to recap for anybody who just joined, Colby just broke down essentially what his strategy was. Colby, I would like to go a little bit deeper into it if there's any more details you want to share. But essentially, for everybody who might have just joined, Colby, he just hammered his personal page with social proof. He was doing live interviews with past clients. He was doing before and after photos if they existed. And he ended up doing a launch week. So, Colby, what do you feel like moved the needle the most? What types of social proof were you doing, and how are you structuring those?
Yeah. One thing I had a belief I had to like face down that, that you needed before and after photos to build a business online nutrition coaching. I think it helps because it simplifies the journey. It simplifies the message. Hey, work with me. I'll make you the not fat guy, turn you into the guy with abs. Right. That's kind of how the fitness journey is. But part of me kind of doesn't like that, because I think it sets an unrealistic standard for a lot of things. So I had to confront that. I'm like, okay, is that true? I don't think it's true, because I have clients who like just want to maintain a healthy weight, a reasonable body fat percentage, and learn how to like motivate themselves to exercise more and just be active, because a lot of the core issues came down to like self-confidence. And getting abs, I think, would be cool for a lot of guys, but some guys are like, I'm married. I'm not really worried about having that. So I had to face that down of like, okay, I don't have a ton of before and after photos. That's not necessarily like my expertise as a coach. But the type of social proof, man, was just real conversations. Like, these are people who, I've spent an hour a week with, if not more, over the course of, a couple of them since January working with. So we have a really deep relationship, and I know their story better than anybody else. And so I could just ask the right questions of, about like, where did you struggle? Where did in your journey, did you think about quitting? Where were you when you started this process? What was your life like? What's changed? What's been the biggest transformation? So just pulling out like human stories and touching in on the emotion, touching in on, Colby, before I hired you, I was too insecure to take my shirt off around my wife, and we haven't had sex in 3 years.
Yeah.
Boom. Right. And then it's like, for a guy who's experiencing that and hears those words, number one, he's like, holy shit, I'm not the only one. Number two, it's actually possible. Number three, is Colby the guy to help me? Right. So they kind of go through that process. And so, it's like being a good coach is asking the right questions and then giving your clients space to like explore those questions or not. If they're not ready to go there, that's totally okay. But that's what it was, man. It's just, I love conversation. I love one-on-one interaction. And this I think is my gift is communication and intuitive sensing of how people are feeling, and body language, and just trying to read the conversation. And so I knew that was my strength. And so I wanted to position my offer and my message to show what I'm really good at, which is coaching. I don't think that a before and after photo would really do that justice, to show like, here's how Colby's different. And people see that, man. They watch my videos on Facebook. I got to be honest, like majority of people who signed up, I would have had no idea they were watching. They weren't commenting. They weren't liking. I had no clue until I got a DM. Hey, dude, I've been watching all your stuff. Tell me about 360 Thrive. I'm really interested in this. I'm like, cool. I didn't even know that you followed me. This is really dope. But the engine, like the engine that really made this thing work truly was social compounding, because I could have just blasted that out to my network of friends and family, but I didn't. I've been adding, 20 to 50 friends a day since like March, April, May, just like building out my, my friend list. And that's been crazy. Here's what I was going to tell you before we went live. There is something so cool. Two things, I think. Number one is if you're working for somebody else and you're kind of dependent on a paycheck, like that's a position of insecurity in my mind, because you're dependent on that person and that business and that thing for your livelihood. Now, once you transition and somebody else pays you for your service and you get that very first paycheck or that very first credit card, whatever, you run that transaction in Stripe, it's like, holy crap, this is real. Whoa, that changed everything for me, right? Then number two, being able to see a role model like Matt and a lot of the other members in the group, a lot of other coaches who are doing really well financially, and emulate that behavior, and then to see it actually, like, become reality is a whole nother thing where I'm like, man, this level of confidence of being able to go into a marketplace and sell an offer, it is the definition of freedom. It really is. Like, it's incredible, man. This skill set of organic outreach and organic marketing and sales, if you're not doing it, you are missing the ball right now, especially in the context of how people are working from home. People are on social media. Their attention is on social media. And if you're not hammering that channel with your message consistently, you're just missing the ball. If you need help, like, talk to Matt. The dude's a genius. So that was the engine, man. That really was the engine. And I just made it just a little bit better, thinking, what are my strengths? How can I really share my personality authentically? And video was the way to do that.
Yeah, dude, that's massive. There's so much gold in that, especially the idea that you shared earlier. I was just like, that's incredible. About how a before and after photo would not adequately capture your genius zone and share that with someone who might be your ideal client. So what you were able to do was get onto some live videos and ask the right questions. As a good coach, that's one of your superpowers. Ask the right questions to then bring out the answers that was going to be relatable for an ideal client who might be watching. What did you do outside of the social proof to actually launch, if you will? All right, coaches, that's it for today's episode. If you'd like to hear the rest of this training, get access to tons more like it, plus free resources to help you scale your online coaching business, you can head directly to the Online Nutrition Coach Community Facebook group, or go to beyondmacros.com/community to get access. Plus, I'll send you a free bonus training to help you scale your nutrition coaching business without working a minute past 30 hours per week. I hope to see you in the community so I can put a face to the name. I'll see you there. And until next time, much love, legends.